Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video here is specifically for the Trial of Truth 3 and it's the boss Hyde. So I think some player actually requested for this guide here for the event boss one. I tried to make it as free to play as possible, but there's one specific Esper needed Razzle, which is going to be Ife. But I'm not sure if Ife can be replaced with the other, I don't know, probably DPS Esper or like Osana, for example, or this Bleed Esper. I haven't tested that, but if you can also go try it out. So let me go through with you what the buff you want to pay attention on, like what kind of buff you want to get, and what is the team idea behind the team. Alright, so it's basically just poison team, or you can consider that as a DOT debuff team. So within this boss here, the Hyde, cause Hyde here, you want to control Hyde to not let Hyde DPS in your team so you can actually survive, right? So in order to do that, and also in order to do the poison team, your first thing about a divine weapon, you have to pick this Spear of Destruction, because when you cast the skill, that you immediately trigger all DOT, including bleed and including poison. So the DOT duration won't decrease, and whenever an enemy receives a debuff, they also receive one stack of Hexcraft, which basically it works like a poison as well, because it's based on your accuracy times your attack and defense. Then how to do this is you want to debuff the enemy. So any kind of debuff will actually charge up. So it's actually very easy for you to charge up the spear. And then the skill here, you want to mainly prioritize of additional charge, so you can actually spam the skill faster. Then when enemy actually take a bleedy damage, then inflict one stack of Hexcraft, so you can actually stack the Hexcraft debuff a lot more faster as well. And when DOT trigger, you trigger it again, so double trigger. So this is the three things you want to pick. You don't want to pick the crit damage up because it don't benefit for your team, since your team mainly focus the DPS on crit. DOT is not about your crit, so this one here doesn't matter. So mainly pick this three buff here. After that, after the spear here, the divine blessing, you must, and the only buff that actually matters is the doom verdict. If you can even go for the tier 2. It will be a lot more easier for your life. But you want to restart your match, which is the run. You want to restart your run and actually refresh that you're able to get doom verdict at the start of the game, because when you start of the game, they will let you pick one divine blessing, and you have to actually refresh the doom verdict here at the start of the combat. So why you will need this is because you want to actually control the Hyde. So the only way for you to control the Hyde is through doom verdict. You have to apply the judgment, because this judgment here will make the enemy incapacitate, so you can actually stun the Hyde. When a control effect is attempt on the carrier, they take true damage equals to 0.5% on their max HP. So we don't really want the additional true damage here. We only want the judgment here to control Hyde. And the only way to apply the judgment is the enemy trigger DOT for 80 times. So your team is everything about DOT. You want to trigger the DOT, you want to apply a lot of DOT, and every 80 times, then you have a 10% chance to actually stun the Hyde. So this part here is a little bit RNG. If you have the opportunity to get more insight rune, then you can actually go for tier 2, then reduce the requirement to 50. Alright, then the Shakti I obtained at the start of the combat, which is the guard bow. This is what I picked, because I'm going into a lot of adventure and Shakti, so I can actually get a lot more chances to get different kind of runes, and also the runes that I want. Then the only thing that I went for the scarf here is actually after repair, all ally speed plus 20%. So it's not a must thing, but it helps because it increases your speed, so you won't get the turn limit so fast. Okay, so I went for guard bow at the peak, and then I go for swift scrap when I went into the scrap room. Alright, then the divine blessing here, as I already mentioned, you want to mainly focus on this. So to activate, you want to get a lot of these skull icon and the insight icon to trigger the judgment. So for the rune here, you want to mainly focus on this. The skull icon, cause this everything that help you trigger the DOT faster, and also more DOT effect as well. Like for example, Hexcraft duration increase when enemy DOT trigger. This doesn't matter. This helps when enemy attack by ability, 10% chance to trigger DOT on them for 1 turn, and the DOT won't decrease. This will highly effective that to trigger the judgment a lot more often, because you need to trigger DOT 80 times. And this one here will make you have a 10% more chance to trigger the DOT a lot more often. So it will help you to have a higher chance to trigger the Judgment Seal. And then the other buff here is just something good or additional, because let's say this one. Every 4 turn, the ally with the highest accuracy, attack, defense, inflict 3 stack of Hexcraft. When bleed trigger, DOT taken more damage, and then receive 10 debuff, immediately trigger DOT. This is also very good. And then the rest here is just something extra. So like attack, defense here will also help for the Hexcraft to do additional damage, but mainly the main thing on your whole team is about accuracy, about your speed, about how many DOT you can trigger. So if you see the thing that can trigger your DOT more faster, then it will be good. And you can see like when inflict debuff, 20% chance to inflict another bleed, and then reduce the resistance, reduce the defense, all these things will help. Okay, then for my squad here, I only bring 5 units, because just to prove that I don't need to actually use the other legendary to cleave through the stage 1 and stage 2. Everything is just about poison. So you're gonna need Falcon for the speed leader buff, and also for additional debuff to the boss, like speed down to make the boss slower. And then also Eye of Horus here can do additional true damage as well. And then we have Ira here to keep turn meter pushing, AP pushing for your team, because you have the Bright Sigmund Watch, so everyone, your ally can just keep on taking AP push for your team, and also additional turn as well. All these things here, bonus turn. So I'm using Ira here for the turn, for the AP nullification, so you can actually just keep pushing your team. So if you don't want to use Ira, you can use like Unas, for example. It's actually doable as well, as long as you're actually making your team take turns more often. Kara here is another poison unit, so you can apply more poison to the boss, so you can trigger more poison as well. And Kara is a very good kit to actually apply a lot of poison as a free-to-play player. Then for Hilda here, currently I'm using the R6 Hilda, but Hilda doesn't need the R6. R0 Hilda here works as well. So why R6 Hilda doesn't matter here? Because R6 Hilda is for, at the start of the combat, instantly get 1 turn of deep sleep, but your team will actually be faster than enemy. So Hilda herself will cast the S3 and get the deep sleep by herself. So R6 here doesn't matter. Okay, as again, Hilda R6 here doesn't matter. Then for Ife part. Ife part, currently I'm using R6 Ife because my account have R6 Ife only, but Ife only needs R2. You only need the Ife R2 effect to instantly trigger all the poison damage, so you can actually trigger the DOT a lot more faster. Then you can do more damage to the boss and also trigger the Divine Blessing a lot more often. But what if you don't have R2 Ife? The replacement I can think of is either Seek or either Osana. Osana is for you to trigger the bleed a lot more faster, and Seek is to trigger all kind of DOT, because Seek in his kit can trigger all kind of DOT. So depends on what you have, like depends on you have Osana, or you have R2 Ife, or you have Seek, then replace the Ife slot here. Okay, but for this showcase here, I'm using Ife to trigger the poison a lot more often. Then we can take a look here. This is the team comp. You want the leader buff from Falcon, and then poison, then this is for turn AP pushing. Okay, so how the combat looks like, you can just go full auto, and then if you have the correct rune, the correct Divine Blessing, you are actually able to clear this one very easily. So you can see they will get clear very easily by triggering all the poison, and then you just keep on stacking the poison and debuff on the boss, like stacking all those hack debuff, the poison debuff, speed down, so the boss can't take the turn so often. And you can notice that the boss is actually on sleep at the moment. The boss is actually can't do anything because he's currently on the judgment, which is he can't do anything, he's on stun. And then you have so many poison stack you can actually trigger. So if you don't have Ife R2, if you use Osana, it will work as well, because there's bleed stack here as well. So it's either Osana or R2 Ife. You can pick your own Esper to use. And then we have Hexcraft here to do additional damage, which kind of works like the poison damage as well. Okay, then the nether boost here, it will boost Hyde himself to do more damage and speed. So you want your team here to get a lot of AP push, so they'll take their turn a lot more often, and then also do more poison as well. And then you're actually speed racing with the cycle, because you can only fight the boss within 10 cycle, and you want your team to be fast, so you want speed leader buff from the Falcon. And then if you have better unit like Unas or Clara, they can do better job in terms of AP pushing, so your team here can take more often. So you see the boss will always on stun, so the boss can't do any damage to you, and you just keep on triggering poison damage, 30k, 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 and a lot of poison damage and hexcraft damage as well. You can see there's a lot of different kind of color here. Yellow color, white color, red color, there's a lot of different kind of damage, poison damage, hexcraft, all these things. And then your weapon here will keep on charging up to max. You can see 0, and then it will instantly charge up as well later on. Do more debuff, right? Max stack, and then instantly trigger all the DOT again. Okay, so if you don't have R2 effect, it will you can still clear this boss easily, but probably you want to go for Osana or Seed for the replacement. So you can actually trigger the poison and the debuff a lot more often. You can see I cleared the boss here at 7th stage, cycle 7. So you don't even need to go until like cycle 9 or cycle 10 to actually clear the boss. So it's actually a lot more doable as well. So after you clear the boss, then you can actually just leave it. Then you can clear all the reward. Okay, so as again, Divine Blessing, you want to focus on getting Doom Verdict, just refresh for it. You want to get for this weapon. And then the start combat Shakti, I went for the Guard Boo. And then the rest here, just mainly focus on this sword here. And then also Insight, so you can actually get the combination a lot more faster. Okay, so how do you refresh when you go into the battle? This is what I picked, right? Just confirm. And then at the start of the game, you're able to choose one rune. So let's say pick something like this, and then one blessing here. So you must re-roll until you get the Doom Verdict. So if you don't get it, just exit. Right, just exit, because you don't want to waste your time here. Okay, then rerun the whole thing. Just pick one thing. Okay, let's say this one, and then see if you get it again. Oh, if you get it, then it's a good run. Then you can actually go start, give it a try. Alright, so I hope this video actually helped those players who are requesting for this Trial of Truth. And if you guys have facing problem, let's say Dwarf Hall, Trial of Truth, or probably in the future bosses as well, you can also let me know, so I can probably know what kind of guides you guys need. Then I can make a guide specifically for you guys if it's needed. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is Trencan, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter or patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwalks, Rimu, Chani, Antonio Winterspoon, First Law, D&D, thank you so much for your support. And special thanks to the Super Thanks MVP, HMZ Riggs, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest 10. Thank you so much for Code Wilderness, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Chani. Thank you so much for your support.